thank the members of the Western New England College Republicans, the Mount Holyoke College Republicans, the Massachusetts Alliance of College Republicans, and Students for Saving Social Security for supporting our event this evening. I have been approached by dozens of SNPs in the past week who are confused as to the purpose of tonight's lecture. As a traditional right-wing organization at SNP, it often falls upon us to represent alternative political ideologies and present different views to our campus. In the past, we have sponsored lectures on topics ranging from fiscal conservatism and personal accounts to pro-life issues. We continue to be encouraged by alumni to promote diversity of thought and exploration of different views on a campus that seems dangerously close to losing its reputation for civil discourse. Tonight, we expand our horizons and open our minds to learn more about different views regarding homosexuality, especially in biological terms. We did not invite Mr. Sorba to Smith tonight to purposely anger or offend. Instead, we truly embrace the pursuit of knowledge and the value of expanding our views to encompass diversity of thought. In order to fully appreciate our beliefs, it is essential to hear all sides of an argument. As conservatives on a liberal campus, we have the ability to do this every day. We wish to provide our fellow Smithies with the same opportunity to hear and appreciate both sides of a debate. There are Republicans and Democrats alike who are on either side of this issue. We hope to broaden our intellectual horizons by listening intently to Mr. Sorba's lecture. And reviewing it at a later date. I thank you for allowing yourself the opportunity to engage in learning in all aspects of life. Without further ado, please welcome Brian Taylor.
Thank you guys for coming out. Let's hear it for the guys beyond the windows there. It's time to turn the chairs around now for those who are going to participate in that protest. All right, good evening, guys. Great Smith, welcome. All right. I would like to begin with a quick note on judgment. Because recently, a number of people have taken historical quotes about not judging out of context by using them to pander to rebellious acts and by promoting a discriminatory tolerance. When people do this, they strike a blow at the very heart of all virtue. Just think, if never judging truly were the ideal, it would be immoral for us to judge even Hitler's actions as wrong. And subsequently, immoral for us to rise against his forces. It follows then that we should not condemn all judgments, but only hypocritical ones. Arrogant condemnations characterized by disdain and condescension. But not all judgments are of this sort. There are two other types of judgments. Some judgments, for example, are judicial. They're proper when conducted by proper authorities. Judges judge. They pass sentence. That's their job. Other judgments are assessments. They are appraisals of right or wrong, wise or foolish, accurate or inaccurate. Every day, we are drawn to things that we judge to be good, and we avoid or shun things that we judge to be bad. It is possible, however, that we can make mistakes about that. So sometimes the thing that we judge to be good at first can actually turn out to be bad for us, and vice versa. So it is critical that we come to know, or at least do the best we can to come to know the truth of things before we make a judgment about them. I hope that this lecture tonight helps you guys to make your own judgment, a wise judgment, and one based on the truth of things. So, I'd like to begin with chapter 1 of my forthcoming book on the subject of the origin of the gay identity. It's going to be a long time. A little over 150 years ago, the first concept of an inborn homosexual condition began to circulate in Germany. time, there's no known record of any human being ever claiming to have been born with same-sex attraction. A little over 150 years ago, the first concept of an inborn homosexual condition began to circulate in Germany. Prior to this time, there was no known record of any human being ever claiming to have been born with same-sex attraction. The originator of the novel concept was Karl Heinrich Ulrichs, the grandfather of the so-called World Gay Rights Movement. Ulrichs was a lawyer, political activist, and known pedophile. At the age of 14, Ulrichs was seduced. At the age of 14, Ulrichs was molested by his male riding instructor, a man about 30 years old. Observers familiar with the apparently high correlation between early sexual abuse and adult same-sex attraction might conclude that this early experience was the cause of Ulrich's fixation. Circa 1860, in an effort to garner support to repeal paragraph 175 of the German Penal Code, which criminalized sodomy, Ulrichs began to spread a theory that defined individuals experiencing SSA as members of the third gender. Ulrichs proposed that individuals who develop same-sex attraction do so because of a psycho-spiritual mix-up, in which a man's body is inhabited by a woman's soul and vice versa for females. Ulrichs coined the terms earnings for males and dailings for females to refer to members of this third gender, which was neither male nor female, but a combination of both. The term Uranian was introduced in 1862 as a new designation for same-gender sexuality in general, both earnings and dailings. Ulrichs took the term from Plato's Symposia, in which same-sex attraction or same-gender sexual intercourse was said to fall under the protection of the ninth muse, Uranian. Ulrichs reasoned that since same-sex attractions were natural, sodomy should not be criminalized. Although Ulrichs was unable to abolish the sodomy laws, his efforts were influential nevertheless, as evidenced by the swell of political activism and public sympathy for Uranians during his time. It was amidst this changing political climate that a German-Hungarian writer named Karoli Maria Kirkbenny, writing under the pseudonym Wenkert, coined the term homosexual in an open letter to the Prussian Prime Minister of Justice in 1869. Prior to this, men and women who engaged in same-gender sex acts were known as sodomites, pederasts, or Nebenschandler, literally boy ravishers. Ulrichs and Kirkbenny understood that public opposition to sodomy sprang from people's understanding of it as an unnatural and irrational act. In order to counter the behavioral connotations inextricably linked with terms like sodomite and boy ravisher, Ulrichs and Kirkbenny set out to coin new terms that would refer to a sexual identity rather than a specific behavior. They were successful. In fact, their most influential accomplishments proved to be the coining of the terms Uranian and homosexual. During this time, German men who were engaging in sodomy began to refer to themselves as Uranians. And a militant slogan, Uranians of the World Unite, was used internationally. Although Ulrich's identity-based term would fail to stick in the long term, Kirkbenny's term, homosexual, proved to have more lasting appeal. Social critic Mark Stein has described how the coining of terms by activists has played a central role in the movement to normalize same-gender sexual activity by subtly influencing the lexicon. Historically, Stein explains, moral concern for sexuality between two persons of the same gender was identified as sodomy, an act. One can either think of sodomy as acceptable or unacceptable. Either way, it's an act that someone chooses. Then Stein explains that in the late 19th century, the act was re-described as a condition of certain persons. And it was termed homosexuality. Next, only a few decades ago, homosexuality was upgraded again, this time referring to a person's very identity. So that now we identify people as being gay or straight or somewhere in between. Now the term describes who a person is. It has become as fundamental to one's identity as race. Stein explains, each formulation raises the stakes. Shut the window. Each formulation raises the stakes. can object to and even criminalize an act. One is obligated to be sympathetic toward a condition, but once it is a full-fledged, 24/7 identity of being Hispanic or Indian, anything less than wholehearted acceptance gets you marked down as a bigot. Ulrich's socio-political strategy established itself as a working model in late 19th century Germany. However, oncoming political turmoil, both within the pro-sodomy movement throughout Germany and throughout Germany abroad, pushed his movement underground. Ulrich's strategy was destined to lie explicitly dormant for nearly a century, yet its influence survived implicitly in the language. The third gender theory established a new concept for the masses, and this concept carried with it an entirely new blueprint for society's future. The next section, so I basically just outlined to you the origin of the gay identity. That prior to the late 19th century, 1850s and 60s, there was no record of a human being claiming to have been born with same-sex attraction. Thank you. I'll wait for the workers. And this is how this pro-sodomy movement that was established in Germany came to America. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that now. Shortly after Ulrich's death, in 1895, the pro-sodomy movement in Germany split into two separate and opposed factions. One faction followed Ulrich's successor, Magnus Hirschfeld. The other, a young anarchist named Adolf Brand. What divided the movement was gender identity. Hirschfeld and his followers embraced an effeminate identity, as in the tradition of Ulrich's, while Brand and his followers perceived themselves as hypermasculine, as in the Greek tradition. In 1897, Magnus Hirschfeld formed the Scientific Humanitarian Committee, the SHC. The SHC was dedicated to two Ulrichian goals. The first was to overturn paragraph 175 of the German Penal Code, which criminalized sodomy. And the second was to work to legitimize acts of sodomy within the German culture. Although Hirschfeld was originally committed to Ulrich's third gender theory of an inborn Uranian condition, he later abandoned it. Hirschfeld believed that persons experiencing same-sex attraction to be the sexual equivalent of handicap due to hormonal imbalance. He also considered same-sex attraction to be curable through hormone treatment. The acknowledgement of a curable same-sex attraction undoubtedly arose after Hirschfeld observed the general sexual confusions of patients with same-sex attraction at his Institute for Sex Research in Berlin, which was a predecessor to Alfred Kinsey's Institute for Sex Research in the U.S., founded in 1947. The masculine Alan Brand and his followers burned it because they were being blackmailed, and the masculine wing of the homosexual movement burned it down because they were part of the feminine movement. There was gay on gay crime. Although Hirschfeld's STEM faction dominated the early pro-sodomy movement in Germany, other activists such as Adolf Brand and his followers perceived themselves as fully masculine and despised everything effeminate. Soon, these opposing activists formed their own separate organization. On May 1st, 1902, three headers, Adolf Brand, Wilhelm Jensen, and Benedict Freiglander, formed the Community of Special, CS. The CS fashioned themselves as the modern incarnation of the warrior cults of ancient Greece, Sparta, Thebes. Members of the CS were also masculine, male supremacists, and pederastic, devoted to man-boy sex. Brand once wrote that he wanted men who thirst for revival of Greek times and Hellenic standards of beauty after centuries of Christian barbarism. The CS wanted German society to revert to pagan values. The positive goal, he said, is the revival of Hellenic chivalry and its recognition by society. By chivalric love, we mean in particular close friendships between youths, and even more particularly bonds between men of unequal ages. Adolf Brand published the first pro-sodomy magazine in Germany called Der Eugene, quote, the Special. In 1903, Brand was briefly jailed as a child pornographer for including pictures of new boys in his magazine. Nevertheless, Der Eugene remained in publication until 1931, peaking at over 150,000 subscriptions during the year of the Republic. In addition to Daring June, Brand published a satirical journal entitled Detente, or the Fairy, or the Auntie, which often ridiculed the effeminate Hirschfield and his followers. As the rift between the hyper-feminine and the hyper-masculine factions of the pro-sodomy movement widened, and as the revival of pagan Hellenic values began to transform German society, the hyper-masculine wing, led by Brand, became a serious political force. In 1919, Hans Conert, along with supporters of the hyper-masculine faction, founded the Society for Human Rights, the SHR. The Bush's SHR quickly outgrew the Femmes HC, became the largest pro-sodomy organization in Germany during the 1920s. The first pro-sodomy organization in the United States was an American chapter of Hans Conert's German-based Society for Human Rights, the SHR. The American SHR was founded on December 10, 1924 in Chicago, by the German-American Henry Gerber. Gerber served with the U.S. occupation forces in Germany from 1920 to 23. While overseas, Gerber became involved with the German SHR. When Gerber returned to America, he legally chartered an SHR chapter together with a small group of revolutionaries. Without revealing his purpose to the state, soon he began publishing a pro-sodomy journal called Friendship and Freedom. Patterned after the German chapter's publication of the same name. In 1925, the organization collapsed, when Henry Gerber, Vice President Al Menninger, and another member were arrested on charges of sexually abusing a boy. All three were turned in by Menninger's wife for sexually abusing a boy. The Chicago Examiner ran the story. Strange sex cult exposed. And spoke of strange doings from Menninger's apartment. Menninger confessed that Gerber claimed the incident was a setup, that their arrest was shades of the Holy Inquisition. Upon Gerber's release from prison, he continued his activism underground by writing under the pen name Parasite. He also retained his ties to the German SHR and published several articles in their publications. Gerber called Clear. Gerber revealed himself as a militant socialist who regarded capitalism and Christianity Alright. Here we go. On October 10, 1948, at the tail end of an 18-year stint as an American Communist Party leader, Henry Hay, who was regarded as the founder of the modern heroes movement, that's all, began to organize a group that would eventually come to be known as the Vanishing Society. Although the society did not officially receive its name until the spring of 1951, it was seen from the beginning as a vehicle to destroy social restraints against sodomy in American culture. At the age of 14, Mary Hay, like Carl Henry Hoax, was sexually abused by an older man. In this case, a man about 25 years old. Later in life, Hay defined himself as a neo-pagan and participated in the occultic rituals of the Los Angeles Lodge of the Order of the Eastern Temple. Aleister Crowley's notorious anti-Christian spiritual group. They also provided musical accompaniment to ceremonies performed by the lesbian high priestesses. He also founded a New Age group called Riot, which met in Aslan in the high desert of Arizona, to offer invitations to pagan spirits. They also believed pederasty, non-birth sex, to be an essential part of the pro-sodomy movement in America, and openly endorsed the North American member of Hoax Association. Henry Hay was Carl Henry Hoax's American counterpart in several ways. Both men launched converted social movements in their respective cultures. The about purpose of each was fundamental Judeo-Christian moral consensus in respect to acts of sodomy. And both have been sexually abused from a young age. Unlike English childhood, they became increasingly militant. As time on, until in 1980s, he participated in the California's divorce and violent AIDS coalition Irish Power demonstrations. Although Henry and is not currently aware concerning the property destruction associated with that fact, whose presence validated the terrorist tactics of the group. Okay. O'Reilly Factor, here I come.
To say, actually. Then please stop filming. Please stop filming people. I just want to.
And if you're interested in hearing what I have to say, you can come back in about 20 minutes. So we're going to clear out the room and we'll be back after they clear out the anarchists. Okay? Yeah, we're going to come back and we're going to clear the room out.
just watch this equipment. It's better for. I'd rather not. Thank you, though. I'm just happy watching the practice. Well, thank you. I'm right at home. Just recording.
talking about issues, what's going on. We could have different corners. I know we're all.
Yeah, wait, I have an announcement too. I have an announcement. Go. You guys are all cheering, and that's great. I understand you're excited. You won. But what did you really win? We're here!
Well, I don't want to leave when there's a commotion because I don't think we'll be able to keep track of our equipment very well. If you want to start packing, I'll hold on to this while you start packing.
I was at the door, Ben.
you with Ryan?
Yeah.
Nobody, please.
I don't think we have.
We covered another event.
So you are with Ryan?
No, I'm not with Ryan. I cover Republican, conservative. I cover a lot of things. We cover those.
Okay. So
Do
you,
you see any other media?
Yeah.
Where else here? Who's here? What other media? You don't see any media?
it's a reporter from the Rainbow Times here.
Okay, good. There's no cameras. You see any cameras rolling?
Well, you said there were no cameras allowed. It's okay, I understand you are. Perhaps, what is coming on film or an independent media organization? Do a lot of public hearings?
Probably not beneficial for them to air.
Do you have an interest in media? Oh, okay. Perhaps
They're the ones
projects that we take and we're converting to keep them online. I'm not aware that the independent media is organization talking about. So, I'm not sure when it'll be online, but so probably the organizers will be yeah, I'm not sure who they are, but they'll do the best possible check. We actually work all over the state. We do a lot of things at the State House. If I wasn't holding the equipment, I'd interview
No, that's
you.
fine.
I'd take an interview.
Okay.
But I'm sorry. I'm the roadie for today.
That's fine. Yeah, I work in technical theater, so I spend a lot of my time with my hands holding equipment.
Do you work with Macintosh computers? Because, you know, I've got one, but I don't know how to use the iMovie program.
Oh, I don't use that. I don't actually have a video camera, so
Oh, okay.
I maybe use it for. I use my computer. I do sound design, and I use it for sound playback.
What kind of computer do you use?
I have a MacBook Pro. It's the 15-inch screen. It's really good, actually.
And what software do you use?
It's a program called QLab, and it's a Mac-only program for video and sound playback. So you can integrate sound and video together in one piece, which is pretty cool. But I haven't done the video part of it yet. I'm still learning.
So is that for editing and things like that?
It's for organizing, getting things in order for an actual performance. So that's how you make things fade in, fade up, fade out.
I've heard about that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I went to a theater and I kind of like walked back by the sound guy and they told me like, you programmed in at a certain time.
Yeah, all you have to do is hit spacebar.
Right, yeah, and this whole set of lights, and you hit it again, and now the whole other set of lights.
Do you need a hand?
Sure.
I can't get that to fold up. I have no. It went right up for you.
That's it.
It was just
Thank you very
stubborn.
much. You needed someone with some common
Yeah,
sense
that's
here.
great.
Fabulous. Well, okay.
I hope you enjoyed this.
Oh, I don't know. It was fabulous.
Yeah,
It was fabulous. The fiasco.
Fiasco's not the right word.
What was that?
Demonstration.
Is Mac the right computer to use if you're doing this
I
stuff?
think at first I like for they were using. No, I don't want to say amateur, but for beginners, it's. I'm sure they have it. Go to iMovie that probably have. I guess I feel like they should.